Hi, I'm Linda Mihara, and in today's class, I'm going to show you one of the models I designed in 2000, You're the Dragon, and it is a baby dragon from a dollar bill. And he's really cute. He's got little wings too, and really nice detail on the head. So go ahead, get a crisp $1 bill and a creasing tool, and let's go ahead and get started. So for this class, it's going to be easier if you actually see it from a larger bill. So you see, this is the actual size of a US dollar bill, but I've enlarged it to make it easier for you to follow the directions. So we're going to go ahead and put that aside. And we want to start with George's face up. We're going to make 2 diagonal folds. And let's go ahead and do that on one end. So we're going to take this, make one diagonal going across like this. And after you make your crease, you want to use your creasing tool to reinforce the crease, especially when you're doing dollar bill folding. So we're going to unfold that, and let's fold the other diagonal going across that on the same side, like that, and then follow with your creasing tool. So now you have your diagonals on this end here, and here. Let's flip the model. Let's turn it over to the other side. And right through that X, we want to make a valley fold that goes right through the middle. So let's bring these corners over to meet the points of the X. And follow with your creasing tool. Then unfold it. So now we've got this crease on this side here. That creates the valley fold that goes right through the middle, like that. So now what you're going to do is reach underneath and push up from the bottom, right through the middle of that X. And it pops up. And what we want to do is collapse it into a balloon base. It's a simple matter of just following your creases and just pushing it together. And then when you flip it over to the other side, this is what you should have. You should have a triangle sitting on top of the rest of the model here. And definitely follow with your creasing tool. When you do dollar bill folding, it's important to reinforce the creases because the dollar has cotton rag in it. It makes it really difficult to keep and maintain a fold. So it's great if you reinforce it with your creasing tool. So now that we have that, we're going to take these 2 corners of the triangle and we're going to bring it to the nose of the model. So let's just go ahead and do that. Bring this one up, bring this one up, and then follow with the creasing tool. Just like that. Okay, so now we have that, let's unfold it. So now we have these pre-creases as our guide for the next step. Let's take the nose of the model and bring it to the base of the triangle in the middle here. Let's bring that over. Just like that. And then follow with the creasing tool all the way around through all the layers. Now what you're going to do is keep it flat or keep it folded, and then we're going to lift up from just the top layer of paper. So that's just going to open up. You want to leave the rest of it down here. So you're just going to peel this open, and what's going to happen is we're going to make a squash fold. So as you do this, what you're going to do is on this top part here, this is going to fold down, and it should follow the pre-crease that you've done here. So you're recreasing that. So let's repeat that. Let's open this up. We're going to bring this top portion to refold along that crease that you've made. And then here at the bottom, you want to fold that in, and that's going to follow the crease that you've made here. When you have both of those creases in place, you have a portion that sticks out like this, and that's called a petal fold. You're going to take that flap and just fold it down, and that's 1/2 of the dragon, and actually it's part of the horns on the head. And we're going to do the same thing for the other half. So again, we're going to take this and push it in and refold it along that pre-crease here. Refold it along the pre-crease here. And then when it comes to a point here, this will flatten, and you just bring it to the bottom of that triangle So this is what you should have. And once you do, definitely use your creasing tool all the way around. Now, while we're working here on this part, we want to create the eyes and a little bit of the detail on the dragon. So we're going to take these two corners here, and we're going to fold it in, and we're going to do one at a time because we have to actually fold it in past this center crease here. We can only do it one at a time. So let's take this point, and we want to shape the head of the dragon too. So the nose of the dragon is more narrow than the back part of the head. So we're going to bring this over so that it's more narrow down here, but then wider on this part here. So it's going to look like this. And you want to take your creasing tool and put that fold in place. And then you're going to take this top part of that new flap that you've created, and you're just going to bring it to the bottom edge here by folding it down like this. Do the same thing for the other side. So I'm going to take the point, bring it in past the center, and you kind of want to match the shape that you have on this side here. Put that fold in place, use the creasing tool, and then take this edge here and bring it to meet the folded edge down here. Like that, and then reinforce with the creasing tool. Okay, now there are 2 points here, and we just want to take the center edge of one of the points and fold it to meet this edge here. So it comes out at a point like this, and follow with your creasing tool and do the same for the other side. We're going to take that, fold that out, and then use the creasing tool like that. And there's going to be some detail at the end where we pop the eyes open. It's really kind of cool. So now that we have that detail in place, let's flip the model, turn it over, and let's fold the whole thing in half lengthwise. So let's bring the edge, the long edges together like this, and fold all the way through to the point here, and then follow with your creasing tool, just like that. Now we're going to take the top edge here and bring that to the folded edge here. So just fold that down, then follow with your creasing tool. And then what we're going to do is a little detail here on this side. We want to first take this folded edge here and bring it to meet this crease here, using the nose as a pivot. So you're just going to bring that across. Paper airplane fold is what I like to call it. And you fold it so it makes an elongated triangle like that. Follow with your creasing tool. That's real important here. And then what we're going to do is create a petal fold. Petal fold is creating a little flap that comes out from between 2 sides of the model. So we want to unfold this very carefully, unfold this part, and then you're going to refold from the nose, bring it all the way down till it hits this intersection here where it makes a turn, and then refold this side. And what's going to happen is you want to have a mountain fold that goes from that corner there to this point here. There's a point where it makes a turn. And so that's where you want to pinch the papers together so that it hits that point there. And then you flatten it. So when you do, it will look like this. You have a little petal fold that sticks out. This part is inside. And then follow with your creasing tool all the way down. And then let's flip the model and do the same for the other side. So let's flip it. We're going to take this edge, bring it to the top folded edge. follow with the creasing tool. Then we're going to take, let's go ahead and rotate the head like that so that now you have that crease line exposed. You're going to take this edge and bring it to meet that creased line there, making that elongated triangle, and then follow with your creasing tool all the way to the front. Now we're going to do the petal fold. So we want to unfold that, unfold this flap here, refold starting from the point, bring it all the way till it hits that corner intersection here. You're going to refold this flap, just following along that fold down here, and it will come to a point, and hopefully you want to target that point where that turn is made. And then you flatten it. So then now you have the second petal fold like that. And let's use our creasing tool all the way around. Great. So now that we have our little wings in place, we want to create pleats going down the body of the dragon. Before we do that, let's make a detail on the tail. What we want to do is unfold it so that it's face up just like this. We're going to take both corners here and bring it to meet the center edge. So we're going to fold little triangles. Just like that, and then follow with your creasing tool to reinforce, because these are pre-creases that will set us up for the next step, which is we're going to unfold. You want to lift open the top flap, push this corner in, and you're refolding along that crease line that you've just made, but you do have to reverse the direction of the fold up in here. But that's not a problem, because if you just push it in, you've pre-creased it, so it should pop into place. You can kind of nudge it by pinching along that crease, and then when you flatten it, it will come out like this. Let's do the same thing for the other side. So we want to open it up, push this in by refolding that part of the crease. You want to re-pinch the top part, putting that in place, and then flatten. And so now you've got the little detail for the tail. And let's reinforce with the creasing tool. Now we're going to create a series of pleats that run the length of the dragon. This is where it gets really, really small. The best way to do this is kind of in the air, and then you reinforce periodically with your creasing tool. So what we want to do first is let's do a mountain fold that runs along underneath the wings here. So that means you're just going to take it and fold it down like this. Now what we want to do is, okay, your crease line is here. And you want to make a pleat, a valley fold that runs parallel to that, as thin as you can make it, which is taking this, and you're just going to fold it forward. So you see, this is the new crease here. That's going to be the size of your pleat. It should be super, super small. So when it's folded, it will look like this from the top and from the side. You see, it's just a little tiny stair step. That's what you want. Any bigger than that, you're gonna run out of room, and you're not going to be able to make as much detail on the body of the dragon. So after that's in place, reinforce with your creasing tool. And let's start the next one from the point where the wings are. So I'm going to fold that back, mountain fold. And you want to use the edges to make sure that you're lined up on both sides. That way you're square through the whole body of the dragon. So you want to pinch that fold in place, and then you're going to take the body and fold back. Again, a super, super small pleat. Let's kind of get that. All right, so we've got super small pleats like that. Let's follow with the creasing tool. And let's continue. So we're going to make the next one over right about here. Because you want to create space in between the pleats. So here's my mountain fold. Now we're going to fold it back. And that's why it's easier to do this in the air. Okay, so we have the next pleat there. And then we're going to add the creasing tool, make it flat. I'm going to keep going. We've got probably 3 more pleats to do. So you're going to take the next one, fold it back, and then fold it back up. Right, super small pleat. Let's continue. Make another one here. So mountain fold. Oh, let's straighten that up. Yeah, and then check yourself by making sure the sides are lined up. And then fold this back. Use a creasing tool. And then one more pleat, which should hit the bottom of this tail here. I would say right before it, because when you fold it back, we want to make sure that the pleat won't take away from this point out in here. So just going to fold it back up. So now you've got your pleats, and let's reinforce that last step with the creasing tool. Okay, so this is what it should look like now. Now you're going to take and fold the whole thing in half, do a mountain fold. So we're just going to take this, make sure the pleats don't come undone. So you might want to hold it in place, and we're just going to fold this in half. Oh, he's looking kind of nice. We're going to do a little shaping on the body here. So if you can imagine an arch that goes from foot to foot. So this is the front foot, that's the back foot. And so we want to make a curved fold that goes something like this. And it's a mountain fold. So you're going to take this edge, start from the middle, and we're going to fold it inside. And then you can fold it to meet this point here. And then from the center, so it looks like this. So now you have that arch, and that whole flap is along the inside like this. And you definitely want to use your creasing tool to reinforce. This also locks the pleats in place, which is kind of nice. And then you can actually refold it and use that as your guide for the back side. So you don't have to turn it over. You can take this and just fold it up along that edge, and then just open it and tuck it in. You do have to flip it to make sure that you can get a good grip on that fold. Right? And so now let's use our creasing tool, and let's refold it in half and pinch it. So now it looks like this. Let's finish the tail, and then we'll do a maneuver to make the neck of the dragon. So let's take, on the tail, you'll see that you've got 2 flaps. Let's take, or 3 rather. So let's take the one on the top here, and we're going to take this folded edge and bring it to meet this part of the tail. So it's going to fold up and stick up like that. Let's turn it over, fold that one up like that. Let's flip it back, and let's flatten it with that. So those are the spikes on the tail. And so now this part here, we want to create the chin of the dragon. And the best way to do this is it's like a two-part crimp fold. You want to start by pinching the wings and holding him really firmly here. If you look under the chin, there are two layers here. So you want to slide your finger in from the nose and you want to pop this open, like I'm doing like this. And then what you're going to do is move your thumb over a little bit. So now it's below where the horn is. And what you're going to do is pinch the top of the head and under the chin. And then when you push down, a pleat should appear and it'll look like this underneath. So you're pinching and then you're pushing down. And then that should create this here. And then what you want to do is fold the head in half, making a mountain fold. So you're going to pinch him in half. And then that locks the chin. So now you've created a chin on the dragon like this. For here on the base of the neck, underneath the horns, you want to take those flaps there and just make a mountain fold by pinching. And then that also locks the head in place like that. So now we want to, before we open the eyes, if you look at the nose of the model, there are two flaps. Let's see if I can pop this open here. So that's the mouth. So I want to take the top part and just make a valley fold out just a little bit to give detail. And then the bottom chin, we want to fold it down. A little bit of detail like that. And then now we're going to pop the eyes open. So you want to get a paper clip and undo part of it so that you have a little wire sticking out like this. And let's look at the head of our dragon here. Again, you're holding it in, he's 3D now, so he doesn't really sit flat on the floor. But if you look on the face, you see these edges here, those are going to be the eyes. And actually there is a pocket underneath. So if you slide your paper clip inside the pocket, I'd say about a third of the way in. And if you hold it down here and you just take the paper clip and you just lift up, that opens up the eye. Real easy way to do this. It's great. Let's do the other side. So again, I'm holding it at the base back here. We're taking our paper clip, putting it in about a third, and then we're just taking it and lifting up. And that pops open the second eye. So now we've got the eyes on the dragon. Isn't that cool? So now you can just shape it the way you like. I kind of like to turn the horns up a little bit like that. You can maybe do a little flourish on the tail here. And then the final thing is to shape the whole thing. And a finish that I like to do is to put a little curve in the body. So we just kind of twist it and make it like a little S. Just like that. And then he has a nice shape, which is great. So that is my baby dollar bill dragon, invented in 2000 by me. And I hope you enjoyed this model. So for more great videos, check out our YouTube channel, Paper Tree SF. Hope to see you again soon in another class. Thanks for joining me and happy folding.